have a massive housewares thrift haul for you guys today. The last time I did a thrift haul of like around the house stuff was probably 4 years ago. I don't really have time to show you all 4 years worth of things that I've thrifted because that's like everything I own. However, I can show you some of the highlights from the past year or so. So we are going to do a massive collective thrift haul of all of the best things I've gotten in the past 9-ish months. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do this. I have everything piled on my desk over here and there is so much stuff. I'll show you actually. Here's a little preview of what we're going to get into today. Before we start though, I wanted to show you some of the flowers that I've grown this week. So this year I killed all of the grass in my front yard here in Austin and I turned it into a vegetable and flower garden so that I could grow food and pretty bouquets for myself and my friends and my neighbors. The vegetables did not do well this year. It got very hot very early in Austin. It was 100 degrees in like May this year, which is very early. And then it just stayed hot all summer and it never got like crazy hot the way it usually does, but it just was hot for a very long time. So that really hurt my vegetable harvest, but it didn't hurt my flowers. Fortunately, I grew so many flowers this year and they're still going, believe it or not. If you want to see what my front yard garden looks like, you can scroll back a couple of videos in my feed. I did a garden tour about 2 months ago. So it does look a little bit different now than it did back then, but the structure is the same. This doesn't have anything to do with my thrift haul. I'm just so proud of myself. And if you want to start growing cut flowers, let me know and I can make a video all about how to start. Okay, the first thing I'm going to show you actually has to do with the garden and the flowers that I just showed you. This is a silver bucket and I've been using this to pick my flowers. I just fill it with water and I bring it outside with me, and as I'm picking the flowers, I put them into the water so that they don't wilt. I can't do this during peak season. Obviously, I would have way too many flowers and they wouldn't fit in here. So when I have a lot of flowers to pick, I just use a plastic bucket from Lowe's. But now that the season is kind of dwindling a little bit and I only have a handful of flowers to pick every day, I like to use this and it just feels a little bit more fancy. Here's a close-up of what it looks like. I love the design. And I like that the handle is long enough that I can fit it in the crook of my arm and use both hands to cut and pick the flowers. I'm not sure if that was its intended purpose or not, but that's how I use it. While we're talking about garden stuff, I got this mini bulga basket. I actually haven't used this in the garden yet because all of my vegetables died super early in the season. But next year I'm going to be using this to pick strawberries and probably green beans and maybe cherry tomatoes too. This type of basket originated in Ghana, and I also have a huge version that I take with me to the farmer's market. Both of these are thrifted. This one was $5.99 and this one was $3.99. The weaving is just incredible and I love that they both have leather handles. This is probably one of my best finds of the year. It's a set of vintage from the 80s bowls and plates. They're my favorite shade of pink. The design is called Lotus. I think they look more like cabbage leaves. Here's the bowl. Here's the dessert or salad plate. This is what the back looks like. I forgot to say the brand is called Metlocks Potteries and they were made in California. And this is the dinner plate. I think I paid $45 total for the whole set. It has 6 place settings, which is perfect because there are 6 seats at my table. When I saw these at Goodwill, I went like as the sun was setting and the sun was shining in through the window onto this set of pottery. And it was almost like sparkling in the light of dusk. It was like otherworldly. It almost felt like it was beckoning me to buy it, so I did. Every piece is in absolutely perfect condition. I feel like the original owner probably kept it in its original packaging and never opened it and never used it because it's just too perfect. Next are some cute little striped espresso cups. A lot of people on TikTok and on Instagram loved these. I found a set of 4 of these at Goodwill and I think they were like either $2 or $3 each. Really a great deal for such a cute little set. I've just been drinking black coffee from my French press for the past few months, but looking at these makes me want to clean out my espresso machine and start making espresso in the mornings again. Like, just look how cute they are. I think I'm gonna make some espresso this afternoon. It looks like Cardinal Ink is the brand that makes them and Linear is the name of the design. A couple more espresso cups because I can never get enough. These are unbranded, so I'm thinking somebody probably made these at a pottery studio and then decided that they didn't like them for whatever reason, but I like them. The main thing I like about them is how large the handles are compared to the cup. I really like a small mug with a big handle. I don't know why. These I'm pretty sure were also $2 each. These salad tongs. Are you kidding me? Have you ever seen anything cuter than these two little giraffes? The quality of the wood is so beautiful. These look like they were hand carved and hand painted. Maybe now that I have these, I'll actually start eating salads. A pretty marble container. I've been using this as a salt cellar. I just fill this with sea salt and I keep it next to the stove to use as needed. I'm pretty sure this is part of a mortar and pestle because I have a mortar and pestle that looks almost identical to this, but this one is just missing the pestle. The mortar. I actually don't know which one is the mortar and which one is the pestle. So this is either a mortar or a pestle, but I'm using it as a salt cellar. I'm pretty sure that was $3.99. These I think were $1 each. There's some pretty cloth napkins from Crate and Barrel. I'm very into stripes right now, if you couldn't tell from the espresso cups. I collect cloth napkins. I have a huge collection of them. I use them, like I use cloth napkins frequently, but I feel like if you're going to be using the same dishes and the same silverware over and over again, just having different cloth napkins really elevates the dining experience. I also feel like they could go pretty nicely with my new dishes for my garden party. What do you guys think? Okay, these are my obsession. I found them at a local thrift store. I think it's called like Thrift House or something. It's on Ben White and South First here in Austin. And they have this room of absolutely incredible antique furniture and accessories, including these copper molds. These were $4.99 each. This one is a chicken. It's my favorite. This one is a little bunny. And this one is a duck. And they are 3 of my most prized possessions. I normally have these hanging in my kitchen and they're just so cute. They were made in Korea. I've heard that Korea makes really, really good copper cookware. I have a couple of copper pots that were made in Korea as well, but I haven't used them for cooking yet. I just have them up as decor. I have a whole wall of copper cookware in my kitchen that I thrifted over the course of a year. It's actually kind of impressive how much copper I was able to thrift. One day I'll do a kitchen tour and I'll show it to you. Another gorgeous copper piece. This pitcher was, I think, $6.99 at Goodwill. I've been keeping this in my dining room full of eucalyptus that I get at Trader Joe's. The eucalyptus lasts a really long time, so I just replace it once every month or so. It's like, I don't know, $3 or $4. It's not expensive at all and it makes a huge impact in the room. Like I said, I have a lot of copper accents in my kitchen and obviously the dining room is next to the kitchen. So it makes the spaces feel more cohesive when I have the same design elements in both. I bought this giant ceramic bowl to make sourdough in and it has changed everything. You guys, whenever you're baking something, use a bowl that's much bigger than you think it needs to be. That way nothing is spilling over the sides, and if you need to make a double batch, you absolutely can. I really like these 2 blue lines. I see a lot of older pottery that has these 2 blue lines. I'm not really sure what that's called, but I really like it. My utensil crock in my kitchen also has that. Anyway, there's nothing truly remarkable about this ceramic bowl. It just is very, very big, and it's made it a lot easier for me to bake. I have a problem with thrifting candle holders. I can't get enough of them. I have like probably 50 candle holders all around my house and like candle sconces and stuff. I really just love them so much. So these guys are vintage. I got them at the Restore, which is the Habitat for Humanity thrift store. There are a couple of them in Austin. You probably have one in your city too. The pricing structure is just different at Restore. Like some stuff is dirt cheap there and other stuff is like way more expensive than it would be at a typical thrift store. So if you decide to go in, just be prepared for the pricing to be a little bit higher. But all the profits go towards a really good cause. They build affordable housing for low-income residents of whatever city they're in. So if you don't mind paying a little bit more, it's a great place to shop. I actually have partnered with them a couple of times in the past few years on like Instagram Reels, and I've had a great experience working with them. But anyway, here's a closer look at the candle holders. I love the little designs. The heart is my favorite. There's also a star, a sun, a little crown down here. The thing that I'm struggling with though is that I mostly have brass and copper accents in my house, so I'm not really sure how to incorporate silver. If anybody has any tips for that, please let me know. Another find from the Restore, these sconces were $20 each, which might sound like a lot until you find out that they retail for over $500 each. These are from a brand called Nikki Kehoe, and the retail price for these is $525. Obviously out of my personal budget, but I can't afford $20 at the Restore. I'm still trying to figure out where I want to put these. They're so special that I don't want to put them just anywhere. And I also am going to have to wire them in. So that's going to be extra work for me to do. And by me, I mean my husband. But I love the scallop design. I saw on the website that they're unlacquered brass, which means that over time they're going to patina and they're going to look so beautiful. I'm not a big fan of this shiny brass finish most of the time because as you can see, it shows fingerprints really, really easily. But I am looking forward to what they look like in a few years. We are actually down to the last couple of things things. I did this way faster than I was expecting. I thought this was gonna take me like hours and hours to get through. This really organic looking burlwood bowl. I feel like this was probably made out of a stump that they just hollowed out. Pretty sure this was $3 at Goodwill. I've been using this in my living room for my TV remotes. It's a little more glamorous than just keeping them loose on the coffee table, or more realistically, between the couch cushions. I love the rings on the bottom. Burlwood is just so interesting looking. I just like looking at it. Okay, and the last thing I have to show you today are these 2 coffee table books. I love putting books all over my house, especially if they're about things that I'm interested in. The author basically interviewed a bunch of interior designers about their best tips and tricks for making a beautiful space. So this book is basically that, but with some absolutely gorgeous inspo photos. And then this book is called The Avant Gardens, Visionaries and Gardens Beyond Wild Expectations. It's just pictures of cool gardens, and I'm very into that. Like, what? My front yard is already a flower and vegetable garden, but this makes me want to turn my backyard into a wildflower meadow. So much inspiration in this book. Anyway, thank you so much for watching my huge collective thrift haul. If you stayed till the end, you're a real one, because I know that was a lot of things to look at. I think I'm going to start doing thrift hauls more consistently now, maybe like one every month or so, just so I don't get so behind like I did with this. Also, now that it's starting to cool down just the tiniest little bit here in Central Texas, and it's actually bearable to be in the garden sometimes now, I'm going to be incorporating more garden content. So if that sounds interesting to you, I would love if you subscribe to this channel. I post pretty sporadically, but I'm going to try to be better about posting consistently. And if you don't want to follow me on here, I'll put my TikTok and my Instagram pages below. I post on there a little bit more frequently than I do here. Bye.